Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to make some hot sweet buns. The kids been asking for some time to make them. I've made them a few weeks back. I'm making them again. They're delicious. Our opinion, they taste much better than the store-bought. They have less ingredients. If you look in the store-bought, they have about anywhere from 15 to 20 ingredients to keep them fresh. These buns are really simple, just regular ingredients that you should have. For most of us, we have them in our house. We don't even have to go to the store. Really easy to put together. And I'm gonna go over the ingredients right now with you guys. So we'll be using the pure vanilla extract, 1 cup of sugar, 2 spoons of yeast, 1 spoon of salt, sifted flour. Make sure you sift the flour so they're nice and airy and you get all the lumps out. 3 eggs, almost a cup of water, just a little bit under. As long as it's warm, you gotta have it warm for your yeast to bloom. Just to check, what you're basically doing is you can dump all the ingredients in and let it go. But I like to make sure sometimes that my yeast is still good, because if it's been sitting in your fridge or wherever, sometimes it goes bad. And all the ingredients that you put in there, if the yeast wasn't good, it's never gonna puff. If it does not puff, then you won't have any bread or any buns you won't be able to make any. So then I got 6 ounces of butter melted. Just put it in the microwave, melt it really quick. And the tools that you'll need for the job, you'll need a whisk, brush, you'll need a cup, measuring cup to measure all the ingredients. Don't just use any cup in the kitchen just use a measuring cup. Sometimes cooks on YouTube will tell you, just use a cup. Some cups are big, some cups are small. It's not just any cup, a mug you pull out. You gotta make sure you're using a right size. So, spoon, whisk, and what I'm gonna be using this time is, you can get one of these silicone mats on Amazon. You don't have to use parchment paper then. You get away from using parchment paper. You can reuse it as many times as you like. They last a long time. And nothing sticks to them. I mean, you can put sugar in the oven and let it caramelize, and it'll come off as just melted sugar and it won't stick to anything. So really easy. You don't have to worry about carrying parchment paper all the time. Okay, so let's begin. So I have some warm water. You're looking for 100, oh, it got cold already, so I'm gonna warm it up for just a few seconds. So you're looking for, the water should be about 105, 100 degrees, anywhere in that range. You can test it with your finger. If it feels like your jacuzzi, that's the water you're looking for. That's the warmth. You don't want it too hot. If it's too hot, you will kill the yeast. And again, your product, whatever you're baking, will not rise. So I think we're ready with that. Let's see. Yep, nice and warm. So measuring spoon, tablespoons, 1, sugar. All right, let's do 3 in here. Okay, 2 spoons of your yeast, 1, 2. Sifted flour, we'll put 1, 2. Whisk it up. So what you're looking for, it's gonna start within like 10 minutes because the water's nice and warm and you gave the yeast, the food, the flour to build on and the sugar to feed on. So the yeast will start foaming up. You'll see the reaction pretty quick. So I'm gonna set that aside here for now. Okay, and we will start with, I have, one of the most important ingredients I missed because it was warming up right in behind me. So I got nice warm milk here as well. Same thing. You can check either with a thermometer or you can put your finger in, because you're still going to be working with the dough. As long as your hands are clean, you're good to go. All right, so you're going to put that nice warm milk in your mixing bowl. You can do it by hand. If you don't have a mixer, KitchenAid, that's okay. You can just get a nice big bowl and it'll just take you a little, muscle to work that in. So you'll crack 2 eggs. Okay. Then your sugar can go in. salt. You gotta put some salt, even though it's a sweet bun, but salt brings out all the flavors in it. So, you know, salt is always needed too. Even if it's a sweet dish, you still want to bump it up with a little acidity or salt to make it stick out. Okay, so then you'll have, you just mix it up. Just a few minutes to melt the sugar for the egg to break up, and you're waiting on your yeast. As you can see, it's already starting to foam up. It's bubbling and it's foaming up on top. So I know it's good. And I knew this yeast, I could have just skipped this process and just put it in there, but I know, I just wanted to show you guys, but I knew that this yeast is good because I just used it a few days ago. All right, so some of our butter, melted butter that I warmed up in a microwave will go in. Not all. I'm gonna leave, you leave like 2 ounces, you leave back. And you're gonna make your egg wash with the butter, okay? So I can just crack that in here right now, okay? And we can start adding our flour in a little at a time. Okay, let's scrape it, scrape off the sides. So the trick is not adding too much flour. If you add too much flour, then you would have a really tough bun, so that won't work for you. You want it nice and fluffy, and you know, just so that just enough water so you can work with the dough. And what I did just now, so this is a little trick to, you want to puff it up. So once all the ingredients are mixed in, what you want to do is you want to put it in the oven. And the oven is nice and warm. The oven is nice and warm right now. It's also like at 100 degrees about, just a nice warm environment for everything for the dough to double in size. So I'm adding our mixture now, our yeast. It's all going in, all in one pot, and it's time for more flour. Okay. We're still working on our dough. Everything is getting mixed in together. Okay, I'm adding the flour in a little at a time, and I'm keeping an eye. I might need a little more, a little less. I'll check on the consistency, and the dough should be still somewhat sticky. You don't want it to be runny. You don't want it to be a one big brick where it's just sitting and it's heavy, you know, doughy. You want it to be a little gooey, so then you're gonna need flour to be able to work with the dough, and that's how, and I'll show you. All right, guys, so the dough's been mixing for about 4 or 5 minutes, and it's starting to look where I want it to be. It's kind of close, but always judge, and I'll show you in a minute what we're looking for. You might need a little flour, a little less, a little more. It all depends, the flour they're using, the moisture in the air. I mean, there's so many variations, you know, and so always you're gonna eyeball it. Anytime you cook, they say with baking, measure all the ingredients, but even there, it's still visually, you have to tweak things. You know, a few ounces here, add a little, take a little away. So what we're looking for, so if you stick your hook in and it's stretching, it's breaking like this, you're almost there. Okay, I'm gonna let this mix for another minute, and we should be right there. Then I'm gonna flour the table here, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do with it. Okay. Okay, guys, so it's been mixing for about 4 or 5 minutes now, and I'll show you what the consistency is like. Okay, so if you take the hook and you're pulling on it, you see how it's sticking together like that? this is what you're looking for. But I'm gonna give it another minute or two. It's gonna get a little thicker by mixing in, and all the gluten and everything is getting worked in. Okay, so our dough is nicely mixed in. It was mixing for about 6-7 minutes. Again, you can do it by hand if you wish, but it's time to take it out. So this is what you're looking for. It's going to be somewhat sticky. It goes back in your bowl. Okay. So let me see. This is what you're looking for. You see how it bounces right back? Okay. All right. So really happy with this dough. It's really spongy, really bounces back. Once you press into it, it comes back up really quick. Feels really good. So what I'm going to do with it, you see where we at? It's about halfway, this bowl. So cover with some plastic. All right. And then just put it in the oven, that warm oven that I told you guys about. It's about 100 degrees, maybe a little less. Just a nice warm environment for it. You don't want it to sit on the counter. If you're if you're not in a rush, you can leave it and it'll just take a lot longer. It'll take 3-4 hours for it to puff up. But if you do it that way, about an hour, maybe less. So I'm gonna clean up here a little bit and we're gonna wait for that to puff, and I'll come back with you guys in about an hour. All right guys, so it's been about an hour and we're ready to check on our dough. Oh, it is beautiful. Look at that. It easily doubled in size. Okay, I'm gonna take this plastic off, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna flour the surface. Okay, and let's get it out. We'll get everything out, no waste. Okay. Put some flour. But you know what we'll need first? Okay, so you can kind of separate it. Let's deflate it a little bit so it's easier to work with. So two things you can do. You can either just, rip little pieces off and eyeball it. It all looks good. But if you are doing it for like a bakery or something where you want, every single piece to be exactly the same, what you would need to do, let's get a scale, zero it out. Okay. Okay. So we got 1,742 grams. So what we're gonna do is 1,742. I got one of these sheet pans, half a sheet pan, and I know I can get 24 divided by 1,700, and I'll ask the cameraman to do the math for me here. He'll tell me what size buns we'll need. It'll be 72 ounces each. Okay, that'll work. 72 ounces each. So this side, cut the dough in 4. Easier to work with. I reserved some of the flour from the time when I told you guys it's 4 cups. So I reserved a little bit, maybe a half a cup. If you need a little extra, it's all visual again. So you'll just take a little more flour out if you need more for rolling the dough. But 4 cups for this recipe is more than enough. So just go set these up. So what I need now, according to the math that was done, I'm gonna need 24 pieces, 72. Okay. So one of these is, okay, 230 cents. So. All right, 74. So you want to be pretty much, you know, a gram on, gram off. You want to be pretty close. You don't have to be right on. You're looking for 71, 73, 74. You won't be able to tell the difference. So this one is exactly 73. And this part takes a little time, but it is needed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just cut these pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of eyeball it, and we got more. All right, 69, 70, 71, 72, 71. All right, and I'm not gonna bore you guys with this process, but you get the drift. So you know, trying to get as close as possible. You're gonna have 24 pieces to fill your tray. It took me about 2-3 minutes to weight them all out to have them exact sizes. Then the rest I just did it with a knife. I mean, if you have a knife for it, you can do it with a knife. That's okay as well. Baker would obviously do it a lot more quicker. Probably not even use the scale. If that's the same thing they do, it's on their menu. They make it every single day. They're not using a scale. So it's up to you, totally up to you if you want to follow that. So now the way you're going to shape them, you got your sheet pan. Okay, I buttered it up a little bit with that extra butter that we had. And the way you do it, you take a bowl, you squeeze it with your palm flat, and you go in a circular motion like this. Use a little flour. Okay, and you got yourself one. Okay, need a little flour. Take one, press it down. First you flatten it, then you go in a circular, then you kind of form a little dome, just like that. Okay, got another one. Then you can do 2 at a time. Okay. Alright guys, so this is what I want to show you. So I got that egg wash, just 1 egg, and a little bit of that butter. What I'm going to do is, my brush, I'm going to brush these all over. Gently, not to squeeze them too much. Okay. They're already starting to puff up a little bit. That's good. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll take it and throw a little plastic wrap over it. Just like that. Don't make it too tight. Loosen it up so they have room to expand and grow. But you want them to be completely covered. Otherwise, they're gonna dry out, and you don't want that. So you kind of want to lift the middle up a little bit so you know they have space, but at the same time, they're all completely covered and they're rising up on you. So this is the second rise. This is a must. The first one was definitely about an hour. We timed it, and they're gonna go back in the oven. The oven is off. It's just nice and warm in there, that environment that we talked about earlier. So here I just wanted to show you guys. So I saved two, I pulled some off, and the kids like them just plain with nothing in them. They're nice and sweet, but you can make them stuffed with anything you like. They're not too sweet, they're on the borderline there, so that recipe there with that much sugar, you can actually put a hot dog. You can shape it this way. So you can, I was there looking for my rolling pin, I got it. Okay, so now I'm going to just show you a few examples of what you can do with this type of a dough. This is a really versatile dough. You can use it. Look how beautiful it is. Look how stretchy it is. So you could just take it and you can, you know, I do it with my kids sometimes. They'll stand here and they'll help me out, but you can just roll it out. Okay. Like so. And you can put a hot dog, let's say, and just wrap the hot dog up like that, right? And then you can just set it on your tray just the way I showed you, put it in the oven and bake them. You'll have really beautiful hot dogs wrapped in beautiful dough. Then another thing you can do is, so you just take it this way, and with your fingers you kind of stretch it out a little bit, okay, just like that. And you take a spoon of whatever you like, maybe some jelly, okay, just like that. Put that in, close it up, okay, and same process. Take a little flour, roll it, and voila, you bake it. Put a little sesame seeds on top if you like, or some poppy seeds, whatever you like, and you can bake it that way. So you'll have them stuffed with jelly or anything you like. You can maybe cook some ham and eggs if you like, or spinach. If you want to make them savory, maybe put a little bit less sugar in the recipe, and you can put spinach in there, saute it with some kind of cheese or something. I mean, your mind can just, you know, go wild with it, and whatever stuffings you like or your family likes, you can play with. Curries, anything, because these buns are really, really delicious. It's the dough that has the value to it. So when you bite into it, you'll see how nice and soft they're gonna come out. All right. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it. This second rise is not gonna be as long as the first one. I'm looking at about half an hour or so in a nice warm oven, not a hot. Again, the oven must be off. Just a nice warm environment. They're gonna puff up. I'm gonna take them out, put them on the counter here. We're gonna crank the oven up to 350 and bake them then. We'll be back. All right, guys, so it's been about, I would say, half hour to 45 minutes. They've been in there. It's time to check. Let's see where we are. Oh, beautiful. They've puffed up really nice. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. So, slowly, so you're not damaging them. Okay. We're gonna go over our egg wash. Just one more time, just lightly. Okay. Just like that. So these buns also have another name. They have, some people call them hot cross buns, like the kids songs that you hear them in, and that's what my kids know them by, hot cross buns. So the only difference is taking, usually it's done with a really, really sharp razor. You would make a little slit. I'll try to do it with a knife. This knife hopefully is sharp enough. No. But maybe on this one. Okay, so you basically cut into it like that. I don't want to do it because this knife, even though it's really sharp, but it's not as sharp as a razor would be, but you need one of those old school razors that have both sides, or even one-sided razor, that you would make that little cross. Or you can make the cross by making, you can also look up some icing recipes where you just mix some confectionate sugar with some water or a little milk, and you just drizzle a cross up on top. You can do that. But what I'll do here for the kids, so I'll make a few, they like them, you know, little sprinkles like that, you know, just something like this. All right, just a few. I'll make a little roll with some sesame, very lightly. What you can also, if you like raisins or cranberries, you can take those, soak them maybe in a little juice or just a little hot water, squeeze the water out of them, and so they're nice and moist, and incorporate them into the dough when the dough is being mixed in before you shape it. Now obviously it'll be too late, and the kids don't like them anyway, but I do. Okay, so you can try that. So what we'll do now, we'll turn the oven up to 350. Let it heat up, because it wasn't heating because I was puffing them in there prior, so it was at 100 degrees. So it'll take a few minutes until we get up there, up to the temp. I'm gonna cover them back up so they don't dry up. All right, set them on the counter, and it's a waiting game. Now we just wait, and I mean, it does look complicated. It looks like it's a lot of steps, but I'm telling you, you do it once or twice, and you'll do it. Like when I put this whole thing together, I don't even look at the recipe no more. You know, I'm just pretty close on, and they always come out really, really good. All right, guys, so I'll check back with you when I'm going to be sliding them back in the oven, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys, we've been patiently waiting for the oven to get hot. It is finally at 350. And our buns have puffed up a little more. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna put them in our oven. We're gonna put them in the center, which is quite important too. You don't want them up high because their heat radiates evenly if it's in the center. And another thing that I must mention, that this is a convection oven. Convection oven, you set at 350. If it was not a convection oven, just a regular oven, then you'll be at 375. Any cooking that you ever do, you have to make sure that, you know, that variance, 25 degrees, you go lower. If it's a convection oven, it doesn't need that 375. 350 will do, because the heat radiates through the walls differently, and it cooks the contents, whatever you put in your oven, much faster. You get that more caramelization, that golden color that you're looking for, much quicker. Okay, so they're going to be in there. It all depends how long they've been sitting out. If they're, you know, it's again, cooking is visually. Every time it's going to be the same recipe, but minutes will vary. I would say at 18-minute mark, I'm going to start checking, but they're probably going to be there for at least 25 minutes. So anywhere from 18 to 25 minutes. We'll be back. All right, guys, so we set that timer for 18 minutes. We only got a few seconds left. It's about to go off. Let's check where we are. Oh, perfect. Beautiful. All right, so just a few things that I want to mention here. Breads, they cook anywhere from, depends how dense the bread is, anywhere from 180 to 210 degrees. For soft rolls like these, you're looking at a temperature anywhere from like 195 to maybe 205. That means it's done. So let's just check. All right, we're at 206. So 206, right on. I know they're done. They're good. I had a little butter melted in here. I mean, there's different ways you can check. If you don't have a thermometer, there's another way of checking. You know, people put toothpicks in them to see if it comes out dry. To me, that test is not always so accurate because it's hard to judge What if did you get a little piece of dough on it that's a little gooey because they're still hot? The best way to do it is a thermometer. Okay, any cook should have that does any kind of cooking at home should always have a thermometer at home. That's a must. When you're doing meats, when you're doing any kind of baking that you're doing, you need to check internal temperature. Okay, so I'm gonna just brush it with this melted butter. Usually I wait at least 5 minutes to let them cool off, but I'm gonna just dig in and, you know, see how they came out to show you guys on video. Okay. Okay, they come right out. See how they look? Nice and steamy. Let's open it up. Wow. Smells amazing. This whole house, I mean, your neighbors will smell these, believe me. That whole hallway smells like these buns right now. They have delicious. So what I do is I put a little butter on them, right? Even though I made them for the kids, but the kids are sleeping right now, they'll be happy when they wake up and they see a whole pan of these made early in the morning. The cameraman is looking at me. He looks like he wants one. So here, I'm gonna take the camera and let him help himself. Don't be shy, put some butter on it.
That's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Just out of the oven.
Kill it.
Good, huh? It's healthy, as I said, just a few ingredients with no additives. That's the important part, right? We can all go to the store and pick one of those bags up full of buns, you know, sweet buns, but they look in the ingredient list. There is a big list. I mean, like 15, 20 ingredients. Who needs to eat all that crap when you can make these in a short period of time? All right.